Yeah.
Cornerback Darius Rush, South Carolina. We got a lot of guys coming from there. What did you see with him? And again, because I think he's a guy that if he falls, I think he's going to be going late second, early third. So like he's projected higher. What'd you see with him?
I did not care for what I saw.
Oh, look at that. You heard the tone
Um,
change, guys.
yeah. So here's just some of my quick notes on him. Lacks twitch and suddenness, lacks feel for routes, lacks speed off the line of scrimmage, uh, gets in chase slash panic mode. Uh, just don't like him. Like those were like some of my notes. So I'm watching, and I've heard his name before. I think maybe Mayoko Barrows or somebody mocked him to the 49ers. And one thing that Brian Peacock and I have been doing is we aren't doing our own personal mocks. We are seeing like just most national people, or maybe some, a Barrows or Mayoko. What mocks are they doing? Who are they mocking to the 49ers? Especially some of these, a Dame Bugler, or some of these big draft guys. Who are they mocking to the Niners? And then we're watching those players. So we did watch Rush a little bit back then. I dove back into it more. And, I go and I look and I'm like, wow, big corner. Okay, maybe that's why he lacks the twitch and suddenness. I can live with that. But then to see his 40-yard dash time
Mhm.
and see how well he ran. I think there's a theme here with a lot of the guys that you picked
He
outside
ran
of
a 4.36.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he ran extremely well. Explosive guy. But I just quite didn't see it on film. I didn't see it's just getting beat off the line of scrimmage. And then I'm like, man, the feet just a little clunky. And I talked about Josh Jackson and kind of some of the things I saw from him. At least with Josh Jackson, he knew, hey man, if all else fails, he can hang his hat on being just an off coverage zone corner, which you don't see a whole lot in the NFL. But maybe he could just do that if I'm a team and I just want to draft him. But with Rush, I kind of struggled to see right now. Again, I watched 2 games today. I have to watch a little bit more, but like, what do I think he can hang his hat on? He's a big physical guy, so I think you might look for the physicality, at the line of scrimmage and whatnot. And there were a couple plays I saw it, but overall, I mean, I just saw him getting rocked back onto his heels. You can't play on your heels. You can't do anything from your heels. Just getting, feet not really moving at the line of scrimmage. Then guys getting, 2, 3 steps on them. And then now, okay, now I'm in the panic mode. I got to chase. Now my time clock goes out the window. And a lot with the time clock kind of helps you be more comfortable reading down receivers. If that time clock's out the window, now you're just playing out there. Now
Mhm.
you're just reacting as opposed to being able to be comfortable and anticipate. So those were things that I saw that I didn't care for. So and part of it was again lacks speed off the line of scrimmage. If I didn't know his 40-yard dash, I would think that he was slow. So again, that's that's a small sample size. We're talking about 2 game films. A lot of the 49ers and their brass, and probably you watch 4, 5, 6 games from this year. They go back to previous years, and maybe I could piece together more that I like. But just in a small sample size, I thought there was a lot of things that were consistent that I did not necessarily care for. At least I didn't care for it more than what I liked from the other guys.
And you're right. Like sample size is a big deal because you don't know what these guys are going through. Maybe they were out partying the night before. Maybe something's going on personally, and you watch a guy and you're like, "Ooh, fifth round grade tops." Then you go back like 2 weeks later, whenever you're stacking these positions vertically, and you watch one, and you're like, "What the hell? This is a second round pick. Like, what changed? Is it
Right.
who he's playing against? Like you and we don't have access to this. So whenever I see somebody like Darius Rush, 49ers have met with him, they try to establish those things that we don't have access to. And so, like, we're guessing a lot, but that's what it is. Now, Croc, let me ask
Rajon
you
Wright,
this.
real quick. Rajon Wright,
Oh,
I had watched his film and I talked about certain things and he didn't run his 40-yard dash time. And I'm like, well, I think I know why he didn't run his 40-yard dash time. It might be questionable, but that was not the issue. He actually had like double hernia surgery or something going on with his hernia, a hernia that he had to get worked on. And that's why he didn't run his 40. So again, those are things I didn't know. 49ers know. They met
yeah.
with him. He was at the local pro day. They do things with him like that. But guys like me who just kind of sit behind the computer and I just watch the film with no context. I'm not a scout traveling to the university and getting to meet with guys and talk about what he's going through. So that is some of the context that we sometimes miss unless we like really, really dive in.
Right. So let's do this. What's up, Coach Cruz? He says Wright is going to be a dog. A lot of Rajon Wright fans. Of these 4
I
corners. Oh,
I
go
thought
ahead.
Rajon Wright, uh, he. So I watched a few corners the other day. I watched Rajon Wright. I watched Makai Blackman, and I watched who was the last guy? Elias Ricks. And I thought out of those three guys, I thought, and I think Ricks would be there late. He just tested terribly. But I thought out of those guys, I was probably least the one that popped the least was probably Wright
Mm.
out of those three guys. But now
Yeah.
the one thing that he did that maybe is more translatable to what we've seen previously in the last couple of years from the 49ers is he played a lot of off quarters type defense and he had good feet from there. Still kind of wondering how he transitions into a turn and run because I saw guys kind of getting on top of him and he really likes to play with his eyes in the backfield. Is that something that might potentially hurt him at the next level? But definitely a ton of ability. And clearly, if you watch Last Chance you know he does not lack confidence at all. So I love that
Uh,
about him.
I like that too, especially in secondary. Shout out to Johnny Dale. What's up, man? You want to learn some football? Go check out his channel. He says underscores how much that our film work is still the best guess in the end. It's what we got to go off of. It's
Yeah.
what we got. And one of the things that I really, really like it whenever I'm looking at these players is which guys were all academic anything. 82 out of 90 players on last year's 90-man roster were all academic in college. That's something. Niners like those clean grades off the field, and that's what they go with.
The 49ers Rush Podcast.